So your heads up for this 5-minute quickie. It's all about me being a dick. That's it. Simple as that. Me being a dick and letting my ego get bruised and get in the way, which is why I was a dick. Have a listen, please do. And also, just a little thought. Have you noticed the format of these podcasts have changed slightly? Do you like it this way, without those long intros and things like that? Or would you like them back again? Or would you like Mammy back again? No, I think she is quite happy where she is. But if you like this form, or if there's anything you could suggest, please do. I'd love your feedback. Anyway, let's get on.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
I decided I would like to have just a little bit of another ramble, a little chat with just you, because I had a bit of an aha moment the other day. In fact, it was over the last couple of days that something happened. And then this morning, I had the aha moment when, it's quite strange, I got up very early, and I mean really early for me. And then I got up and I put on some lovely music and I did my stretching. And I did a longer stretch, a bit of yoga type stretching, which really made my mind really calm, really chilled. I made my cup of coffee and I went in to write my journal. I just felt really good. I kept that lovely music going. And I started to think, because I like when I journal to just let my pen write. I didn't know what I was going to write. I just wanted to let the pen write what was ever in my mind. So I started off by saying, "Oh, lovely stretch this morning." And I've got my coffee in hand and now I wait. That's like the way I would normally start my journals. And I wait. And then I just started to write a little bit about this webinar I spoke about on a previous podcast. Thing about, preparing and getting ready. But the thing is, I'd done the first webinar and people loved it. And lots of people on Facebook were saying, "Oh, lovely this is brilliant, this is that." And it made me feel really awesome. Made me feel really good. I was so pleased with myself. Just with me, I was really pleased. And then the second webinar come along and I was relaxed about it. I went through my little notes to make sure everything was switched on. Had a little hiccup, but no problem whatsoever. And we started. And I went through that webinar. And I wasn't quite sure. You see, you get this thing in your back of your mind. Was it as good as the first one? I seem to think so, but I couldn't remember, because sometimes your mind goes blank when you're in the moment. You're just saying what comes from your mind, your heart. And since then, I've been a little bit deflated, because those reports, those little comments didn't come. There was a couple, but nothing like the first webinar. And old Cloughie's ego was pretty deflated. And I started to make a few notes about this, but then I thought, then the big note and the aha moment came. It was, what's it got to do with your ego? What's it got to do with me about this webinar? What was the reason for me doing this webinar? It wasn't for anything to do with me at all. It was me to share some learnings to help people with their questions, give them answers. Maybe if I could guide them in a particular direction using the skills that I had, so they got their outcomes. You see, what I forgot was, during that one particular webinar, one person had a massive change from just some of the words I was saying. And they sent me an email telling me what had actually happened. And it was an incredible change that just in an instant, I was talking about a memory popping up and how to deal with it. And a memory just popped into their head and made them so different in the way that they learned something so wonderful about why and how things were happening now, as if they were still acting from a long, or having a process that they used to deal with things a long time ago and still using a process from being a child and forgetting all the experiences they'd had in between, which is what we do in the therapy rooms. And you see, I'd forgotten about that. And in fact, this person sent me another email saying, since then what had happened and how much they loved it. But you see, this was a one-to-one email. It didn't tell the world. And I think that's where old Cluffy's ego got in the way. And I thought to myself, what a dick. Because I talked to myself like that. And I thought, that's not what it's all about. We talk about the ripples of change, making like a splash in a pond with a pebble and allowing those ripples of change go far and wide and doing it to create something different, not for me. So I just sat and wrote about the feelings I got from just knowing and sometimes not knowing the other changes that have been made in other people. And to that end, I felt good, but felt good in a different way. It was like in a complete way. I'd done something that was part of, my ultimate vision of being a helper, doing things that create differences in the world, differences in one person, because I know that one person now, when I think about it, will make a massive difference in the world, having got rid of this issue. And we didn't even do any therapy. It was just talking, a story. This was a story I was telling him about someone of how to understand the positive intention of like a negative behavior. And I told this story of a guy who came to see me I worked with and how things change in an instant. And it happened again. So that's like the magic of everything that we do. It's not magic, but it's magical. And to be part of that is magical. It just makes you feel good. And I was humbled I humbled myself, as it were, to realize what it's all about. So that's when I recorded a podcast about looking in the detail and the big picture, to think about your outcome and to think about your purpose. And it just created something in me that, makes me feel different. Not me different from other people, but makes me feel different than I did before. And it's a nice feeling. It's something I can relax with. But if I use this learning, I know the next webinar I do and the one after that and the one after that are going to make a difference. Because this time I'm going to be wholeheartedly in there just to make a difference. So I have this feeling again of knowing. This is like a knowingness feeling. There you go. And hopefully, this is my hope, that I'm going to use this in more FMQs and in the longer podcasts. So I can use this like this spirit, this underlying purpose. And hopefully it creates more change than I can imagine. And those ripples of change do go so far and wide because you take that on as well. Only when you choose to. And if it makes sense to you. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. Well, it does to me. And I hope it does to you. There you go. That's me. That's the end of this 5-minute quickie, which is a little bit longer, but I just hope that you enjoyed my little personal ramble about me. So enjoy whatever you do. And I really hope you get this feeling that I've got right now, because it really is quite nice. I'm going to sit here and enjoy it just a little bit longer. So until next time, bye-bye. Hey, just before you go, I've just got 2 or 3 little bits of information I'd like to share with you. The first one is, unfortunately, the introductory prices at paulcloughonline.com, the programs such as Free Your Life from Anxiety, Supreme Inner Confidence, the hypnosis tracks there, the paid ones, well, they're all going up in price because this introductory period is coming to an end. But here's the big but. If you join the community by merely just joining paulcloughonline.com/podcast, as usual, you'll get free access to all the hypnosis tracks that are attached to this podcast. You'll also get, now and again, discounts and offers on those programs, and if you want them, and I'll also extend that guarantee completely. And also, you get surprise hypnosis tracks and coaching tracks that won't be available on this podcast, because I want to be able to share even more to the people who are really doing this work and really getting into it. So if you'd like that, go to paulcloughonline.com/podcast. Get your free access to all those hypnosis tracks and more. Now, the other thing is, did you enjoy this episode of the Personal Development Unplugged podcast? Because if you did, I know time is finite. We've only got so much time in this world and how we use it. But if you did have time to share, wouldn't it be nice if you share this episode or one of your favorite episodes to some friends or unfriends, people who you feel might need it? Because you'll be doing them one of the greatest services, is showing them a way to change themselves. And in that way you wouldn't, well, one thing you'll never know though, is how far the ripples of those change will go. But I know they'll go further than you can imagine, because those changes will make changes in other people as well. And in that way we create a community, but also create a community for change. And the big picture is, we will change this little earth we live on in a good way. That would be brilliant, I think. And also, lastly, but not leastly, if you'd like to receive these podcasts on whatever you listen to them on, just subscribe. So you can subscribe to iTunes if you wish, and it'd be really kind if you did. Leave a little 5-star review, or any star review, obviously. But leave a review if you could. That'd be nice. But also, there's another great app that I found. I mentioned it before. It's called Castbox. 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 And again, it has a subscription button. It gives you a place where you can leave a review. But also, what I did find out is, when you subscribe, you get a facility to search through all the episodes of Personal Development Unplugged. So if you want something for, say, confidence or grief or sadness, or you put that word in and search through and see what comes up. There's so many there. Might be able to make you find the ones that you want that much more easily. Another thing is, if you can't find them, let me know by email, paul@paulclough.co.uk, and I'll guide you to the right place. Also, if there's anything you'd like me to discuss, go deeper with, an issue you have, that obviously you'll remain anonymous. Don't worry about that, because we can dive deep into it. We can come up with some processes. We'll develop a process if need be. But also, it's like when you're in one of those seminars, someone asks a question and you go, oh, thank God. They asked a question I've been wanting to ask, but I didn't feel brave enough. Well, now you can ask that question with complete safety. Send me the email and we'll discuss it, dive deep, find answers for you and all the other people who have similar issues, and we can develop it like that. And let's develop this community. So thank you for this bit of time for listening here. I'm going to get off and get ready for the next one. Okay? So see you soon. Well, enjoy. Well, I mean it so much. Enjoy every heartbeat and have more fun than you can stand. Until next time, it's Paul. Bye-bye.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.